So, you want to try carrying a revolver. Before I talk about the best revolvers on the market for concealed carry, let me give you a few reasons why you should not carry a revolver. 1. A revolver can be a bit more challenging to carry because of its cylinder, which makes it thicker than a similar sized semi-auto. A semi-auto typically has a slim profile with no bulging cylinder like that of a revolver, which makes it easier to carry concealed in any holster and also makes it easier and faster to draw. 2. If you compare a revolver and a semi-auto with similar overall lengths, the semi-auto will always have a longer barrel than a revolver, which allows it to maximize the ballistic potential of whatever cartridge it is chambered for. 3. A revolver has multiple chambers in its cylinder, which rotates whenever its hammer is engaged. For it to rotate freely, there has to be a gap between it and the barrel's forcing cone, unlike in a semi-auto where there's only a single chamber and it is an integral part of the barrel, as both are machined from a single piece of steel. The revolver's cylinder gap causes bullet velocity loss as hot gases escape from it, and the shooter should be careful not to put their fingers or hands near this gap when shooting to avoid getting injured. And lastly, because the revolver doesn't have a moving slide and a recoil spring like a semi-auto does, the full brunt of each shot's recoil force gets transferred directly to the palm of the shooter's hand. And it gets even worse, as most revolvers are usually chambered in powerful Magnum cartridges. Now, if nothing I just said will stop you from wanting to carry a revolver concealed, stick around to the end of this video where I talk about the 7 best compact revolvers for concealed carry. Number 7. Charter Arms Magpug, Model 73521. Charter Arms is a budget revolver manufacturer known for their cost-effective budget offerings. They pride themselves as an all-American company, and they've been around since the 1960s, manufacturing only revolvers. Similar to Ruger's, Charter Arms revolvers use a single-piece frame, which, unlike revolvers from Smith & Wesson and Taurus that use a frame with a screw-on side plate, are generally considered stronger as they retain more of their structural integrity. The company also markets its revolvers to have the fewest critical moving parts due to the way they are designed. All their barrels are machined with 8 grooves, which help maximize bullet velocity, allowing for flatter trajectories and better accuracy. And lastly, all of their revolvers have cylinder lockups in 3 places instead of only 2. Not too different from how Taurus designed their Big Bore Raging Bull and Raging Hunter series of revolvers. The Charter Arms Magpug is the most affordable, spurless, all-steel snub-nosed revolver on this list with its wallet-friendly $410 MSRP. Chambered in .357 Magnum, it has a barrel length of 2.2 inches, an overall length of 7.32 inches, and a weight of 23 ounces unloaded. As far as dimensions, it is the biggest revolver on this list, but it's still a viable option for the budget-minded who prefers an all-steel over a polymer revolver. Number 6. Taurus 605 Poly Protector. Ruger was the first company that successfully manufactured a revolver with parts made of polymer. That revolver would later be known as the LCR, which I'll talk more about later. A few years afterward, Taurus, one of the 3 major revolver manufacturers in the US, took some design cues from the Ruger LCR and developed their own polymer-framed revolver. Prior to the release of that revolver, the Taurus Model 605 has been around since 1995. It's an all-steel snub-nosed revolver with a 2-inch barrel chambered in .38 Special and with a 5-shot ammo capacity. Taurus has built more than a few different Model 605 variants, the latest of which is that polymer-framed revolver inspired by the LCR, the Poly Protector. When it was introduced, the Poly Protector had an unusual look because of its polymer frame construction. Sadly, very few people liked it aesthetically, as the majority of revolver aficionados hated it. Regardless of people's reception, the Poly Protector model is objectively a pretty good option for anyone who wants to carry a concealed revolver. The Poly Protector is very light, weighing in at only 20 ounces, which means you can carry it around all day without feeling sore. And unlike the original Model 605 and .38 Special, the Poly Protector is much more durable, as it was designed from the ground up to chamber and shoot .357 Magnum. But there is one major downside when carrying any lightweight .357 Magnum revolver. It will kick like a mule when you shoot full house .357 Magnum rounds in it. You can always just load it with .38 Special Plus P loads, and with its low MSRP of $420, the Poly Protector's value is hard to beat. Number 5. Smith & Wesson Model 640. Smith & Wesson's J-frame revolvers have been around since the 1950s. These are Big Blue's smallest revolvers that were designed to shoot full-house .357 Magnum loads. Durable, easy to use, and highly dependable, these J-frames were made to be available in a variety of different calibers, and with 3 diverse hammer designs making them some of the most popular revolvers on the concealed carry market today. In a lot of ways, you can say that Smith & Wesson wouldn't have become the most well-known defensive revolvers manufacturer in the world if it weren't for their J-frames. For concealed carry, I recommend Big Blue's Model 640. It's built on the company's J-frame, which makes it a small hammerless revolver. With its barrel and frame both made of stainless steel, it has an unloaded weight of only 22.58 ounces. As far as dimensions, like all other J-frame revolvers, the Smith & Wesson Model 640 is easily concealable, with its barrel length of 2.13 inches, its overall length of 6.75 inches, its overall height of 4.25 inches, and its cylinder that measures 1.31 inches in height. Like a few other models on this list, it only has a 5-round capacity, which means you may need to bring a speed loader with spare ammo so you won't feel undergunned. In addition, it has a beautiful matte stainless steel finish, which unfortunately isn't complemented by its rather ugly synthetic grips. But with its MSRP of $809, the Smith & Wesson Model 640 is surprisingly one of the more affordable options on the market. Number 4. Ruger LCR Model 5450. It was over 14 years ago, when just days before the 2009 SHOT Show, Ruger made a statement that it would be introducing a quote-unquote bold new gun that would get everyone's attention. As it would turn out, the highly reputable American gunmaker's quote-unquote show-stopping announcement was about their new polymer-framed revolver, the Ruger LCR. In case you're wondering what the LCR stands for, it is an acronym for Light Compact Revolver, and no other description can be more accurate. The first LCR Ruger introduced was a 5-shot wheel gun chambered for the .38 Special cartridge. The company's decision to use polymer was a big departure from what people at the time were used to seeing in a revolver's construction. Smith & Wesson made a name for itself with its scandium aluminum-framed J-frame revolvers, and since the scandium processing methodology they use is patented, Ruger had to take a different route. When it was released, the LCR was a unique revolver, with elements of both traditional small-framed snub-nose wheel guns and the advancements associated with modern polymer semi-autos. Ruger opted to use steel for the cylinder and barrel, aluminum for parts of the frame, and polymer for the handle. The particular LCR variant you may want to consider is the hammerless Model 5450 with an MSRP of $859. It has a 1.87-inch barrel, an overall length of 6.5 inches, and a height of only 4.5 inches. Its cylinder is relatively thick, measuring 1.28 inches wide, but only has room for 5 rounds of .357 Magnum, which may not be adequate, so just bring speed loaders with spare ammo when you carry it. Number 3. Kimber K6S. Best known for their production 1911 pistols that look and feel like custom-built models, Kimber never built a revolver before. In the last 2 decades before Colt decided to revive their snake guns, there were really only 3 major players in the revolver market: Smith & Wesson, Ruger, and Taurus, though it has to be said that Taurus has never been as reputable as the other 2. So it came as a huge surprise when Kimber announced in January of 2016 that their next concealed carry piece was going to be a wheel gun. Designing a new double-action revolver can be daunting, and even more so when the design is complete and the first few production runs make their way to the retailers. This is because while most people believe revolvers are simple to operate, they are mechanically far more complex little machines than their semi-auto counterparts. Kimber made a bold move when it decided to build the K6S, a concealed carry self-defense revolver that would compete with models released by the more established Smith & Wesson and Ruger. The Kimber K6S is a hammerless, snub-nosed revolver with a barrel length of 2 inches, an overall length of 6.62 inches, a height of 4.46 inches, and a 6-round cylinder that measures 1.39 inches in width. It has an unloaded weight of 23 ounces, which makes it a heavy gun for its size, but it is to be expected, because its frame and barrel are both made of stainless steel. With a $985 MSRP, it's priced just right, considering similar priced offerings from its competitors. Number 2. Chiappa Rhino 200DS. There's something to be said about a firearms manufacturer that loves to innovate because in general, we all love the idea of innovation. But there are times when the implementation of an idea and its market-ready version don't seem to fit. A company that risks its very existence just to try doing something different from its competitors sometimes reaps rewards in the area of technological advancement, but there are also times it gives the impression that it has no idea what it's doing. To many people, that company is Chiappa, and the something different bit is their proprietary design, the Rhino series of revolvers. It's a double-action revolver that mounts its firing chamber at the 6 o'clock position in the cylinder and places the barrel low on the gun. This results in the low-bore axis, which aids in recoil control and faster and more accurate follow-up shots. If you're the adventurous type, which you probably are, otherwise you'd be too busy drooling on your SIG P365, the Chiappa Rhino 200DS deserves a chance. You can easily carry it concealed thanks to its barrel length that measures 2 inches, its overall length that measures 6.5 inches, and its overall height that measures 4.75 inches. Its hexagonal cylinder has room for 6 rounds of .357 Magnum, but measures only 1.38 inches wide, making it a hair's breadth thinner than the Kimber K6S. It weighs in at only 24 ounces, even when its cylinder and barrel are both made of steel, thanks to its 7075 T6 aluminum alloy frame. It has an MSRP of $1,127, which is not a bad price for a highly concealable, futuristic wheel gun that you can easily carry concealed. Number 1. Smith & Wesson Model 340 PD. Despite the Smith & Wesson Model 340 PD making it in this video, I have to say that it is one of the few handguns I love to hate. If you've been subscribed to the channel for a while, you probably already know how I hate this revolver. It made me develop a flinch, but that's neither here nor there. Compared to the Smith & Wesson Model 640 that I talked about earlier, the Model 340 PD is much more expensive, with its MSRP of $1,139, making it the most expensive concealed carry revolver on this list. It's an ultra-lightweight snub-nose revolver weighing in at 11.8 ounces thanks to its scandium alloy frame and titanium alloy cylinder. Even with its weight, it is strong enough to handle factory .357 Magnum loads, though boutique ammo manufacturers like Buffalo Bore advise against firing their hottest loads in any J-frame revolver made of alloy. With a barrel that measures 1 7/8 inches, an overall length that measures 6.31 inches, an overall height that measures 4 inches, and a 5-shot cylinder that measures 1.3 inches, the Smith & Wesson Model 340 PD was designed to be carried a lot but shot a little. It's so lightweight that you can carry it on your person practically all day without you feeling sore. Just be careful not to shoot too many full-power .357 Magnum loads in it if you don't want to develop a flinch as I did. And that's all I have for you in this video. If you like concealed carrying any revolver beside the ones on my list, let us know what it is and why it may be better or worse than my recommendations. Please like, share, subscribe, and click on that little bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.